Mm. Hello, you wonderful people. Let me know in the chat if you can see me, if you can hear me. Oh, let's put this here. There we go. Okay, let's just make sure. Hello, 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 hello. Happy Thursday to all of you wonderful people. I hope you are having a fantastic day. As always, welcome to Jupiter's Blueprint. So today is Thursday, so obviously we're going to be working with Big Sky Daddy Jupe. Okay, so afternoon, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good evening, everyone, wherever you are in the world at this moment in time. I hope you are having a fantastic time of it. So, if you are new to my channel, my name is Raphael. I am an astrologer, tarot reader, numerologist, and energy worker. Try saying that 5 times fast when you've had a few. Um, that being said, obviously, these are the spiritual sciences that I like to use. These are my core four, as I like to call them, and they are effectively what I use to bring you all of the messages that I do. With that said, Jupiter's Blueprint is about working with Jupiter's energies and what's available for us to kind of lean into, right? So, this is about using, creating, and harnessing the luck that is available in the cosmos at this moment in time in regards to Jupiter, the Lord of growth, expansion, abundance, and levity. So, that being said, it's really about empowering ourselves to work with the planets rather than against them, right? Or to see these as things that are happening to us that we have no agency in. I do not like that idea. Now, that being said, we are going to be seeing what the big guy is doing this week and where he is, and we're going to explore some of the aspects that he's going to make and see how they might affect us on a personal level. If you are a new subby, then you will not probably know that Rafi is a whole sign kind of guy, right? So I use whole sign tropical Western astrology for those of you that would like to know. For those of you that are my seasoned my seasoned few, you kind of already know this, right? So if you are here right now, I am seeing all of your comments in the chat, and thank you so much for them. It's wonderful to have you. I'm going to send you a little message just to say, hey, hey, hey. Um, so if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate and love each and every single one of you. I love that you guys check in daily. It's really lovely to have you here. And for those of you that wonder, what is going on with the Taurus Garden? Why do they have a special green title and a little star right next to them? Because the Taurus Garden is one of my valued and treasured members. There is a link in the description of this video so you can sign up for membership. Members will be getting exclusive content that is literally just for them. So stay tuned. And if you want to get my weekly tarot reads, which are for all of the 12 signs, you can sign up to be a member as well. Now, with that said, let's get into it. So, truth be told, this week Jupiter isn't actually doing a lot in terms of movement. Now, if you've been paying attention over the last few weeks, then you will know there is a reason for that. Anyone right now in the chat, can you tell me why is Jupiter not moving at this moment in time? Why is it that the big guy is not doing pretty much anything for this week. And I say not doing anything, what I mean is he's not really moving. Can anyone tell me why? Oh yeah, so Heidi's got it because Jupiter is going retro, right? So if you haven't seen my Jupiter retrograde special, I do urge you to watch that video. It's going to have important information about this transit. Plus, there is a 12 sign breakdown. So I give you a little bit about what this is doing in terms of your astrological whole sign house. And then on top of that, I also give you a tarot read as well to kind of give you a heads up as to what this transit might be showing you or what it might be about. So, as we know, Jupiter is currently slowing down to go retrograde at this minute in time. It isn't really moving, right? So, Jupiter is at, as we speak, Jupiter is at 21 degrees of Gemini. And it's going to be staying at 21 degrees of Gemini, right? It's literally not moving from that space. And the reason it's not moving from that space is because it's stationing to go retrograde, right? So Jupiter's going to start to track backwards in a sense. Now, that being said, as we come into today, so I'm going to first, I'm going to ask you to show me your juice, baby, because today we're talking about Jupiter, so we want to know all about the juice. So get at me in the comments right now. I want to see your juicy fruits, right? I want to see grapes, I want to see pears, oranges, apples, lemons, whatever they are. Show me. Come on, you want the juice on Jupiter? You better get at me in these comments. Let me see it. Let me see it. Let me see it. And in the meantime, I'm going to have a sip of my juice, which is actually just water. Oh yeah, there they are. Look at that. Heidi's dropping that juice for me. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's see it. Let me see it roll through the comments. Hello, 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 hello. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, we even got some mangoes and some watermelon, strawberries, cherries up in here. What? What? Let me see that juice. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. All right. Cool, cool, cool. I'm just making sure you guys are here and having a good time. So let me share the chart with you now. Hola, hey Sarah. All right. So I'm gonna hit the share button. Just let me know if you can see the chart on the screen. All right, good, good. Likewise, Monday, likewise. All right, I love it. I love it. I love it. So, can you just let me know in the chat if you can see the screen so that you can see what I'm sort of showing you? Asleep by nine. Hello, lovely. Nice to have you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, you can see it. Okay, fantastic. So, as you can see, Jupiter is here at 21 degrees of Gemini. So, obviously, this is set for London. So, unless you're in the UK, ignore the houses. In fact, ignore the houses anyway, because we're not going to be looking at it from that perspective. This is kind of a flat chart in a sense. All right, so you can see Luna is here at 18 degrees of Libra. So as we're going through today, Luna's going to pass through the trine with Jupiter. Now, that's quite an interesting sort of thing to happen. And one of the things that I actually really like about this for us is that at this moment in time, because obviously Jupiter's not moving, it's at 21 of Gemini, we come into today. And because Luna is moving through the trine to Jupiter, so it's a really good day to consider what it is that you really need from your relationships and then open up a dialogue about it, right? The moon is about our needs, it's what we need. Question, let me just backtrack for a minute. I can't believe I totally forgot. I like literally just bypassed it. can we talk about yesterday? How is everybody feeling after this eclipse? Like, talk to me. Get at your boy in the comments. I need to hear it right now. Like, how is everybody feeling after the eclipse, right? So, I'm not shy about it. Everybody knows I'm a Leo ascendant, obviously, darling. And I am a Cancer moon, right? So eclipses tend to hit me quite hard. And big lunar or solar transits tend to, I tend to feel them quite sort of literally and or viscerally. When I tell you yesterday, I managed to get done everything that I needed to get done. But when I say like after that, I was just like ugh, laid on the sofa, like it wiped me out. And I slept so good. And I had a really powerful dream last night, um, that was actually about like the work that I do and stuff. I was having this really profound conversation with a really famous YouTuber. It was really random. I was just a bit like, and then when I woke up, I was like, huh. And there were some faces in the dream, but yeah, like people that I know, and it was just a really interesting dream. So let's have a look. Yard says my dog ran off and my youngest ran after him, and then we couldn't find him. Scared the hell out of me. I bet. Emotional release, very intense. Was drained the rest of the day. Felt nauseous and had a headache. I've still got that the little pang in the temple. It just I think it will dissipate as we start to see the separation. Christine says wild dreams last night. Laurel Bird, my Aquarian sister. Laurel is also one of my members. That's why she's got the orange star. So Mondai says I'm a Leo rising as well. So Mondai 27, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yards, congratulations. See that? Just one more day. Just one more day. That's it, right? Well done. Seriously, well done. Today has been very different yesterday. I feel like I was choosing between two realities, stepping into this new one. Yes, right? So we've just had, and there's a reason that I'm asking this question. It is relevant to what's happening today in the astrology, right? Jan Wallace says, "'Twas an epic chat yesterday with Adam. Ah, I'm so glad that you loved it. I tell you, I love working with that dude. He is so cool. He's so humble. He's such a, like him and his family, like it's just such a beautiful thing to see. And he's so knowledgeable and just like, you know what I love most about Adam? He's super knowledgeable and super spiritual, but he's so grounded at the same time. Like he's just totally like on a level, salt of the earth. Just, yeah. Family issues, broke a tooth. Oh my gosh. Definitely need a dentist for that one. Weird dreams too that seem to bring some completion with others. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, sorry to hear that, Laurel. I hope you're okay, lovely. There's a few things that I want to say about that. I'm going to send you an email later, love. Just because my brain's going off on a tangent and I'm like, no, keep it relevant to here. So, my guides and me, should I say, says today has been very different, and just felt like I was choosing between two realities and stepping into this new one. That is important, right? So I'm going to share my screen once more. Just let me know when you could. Oh, no, 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 no. You don't want to see me. You can already see me. What you want to see is the chart, right? So just let me know if you can see the chart. Thank you, The Crooked Trail. Thank you, Heidi. Yeah, I agree. It was just really great to work with him. It's always great to work with him because and we, like we genuinely have like a chuckle about it all as well. Like this is a good laugh. Um, okay, it says I'm sharing my screen, so I think you guys can see the chart. So I'm going to get back to it. Yes. All right. Excellent. So the reason I bring this up is because we're just off the back of a lunar eclipse. The moon is still currently in Libra at this moment in time, and she's starting to apply to a trine to Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is the energy of coherence. It's the energy of bringing things together, right? It's the energy of synthesis in some way, shape, or form. The other thing about Jupiter, it's growth, expansion. It's been moving through the sign of Gemini for a while at this point. And, Gemini is an air sign. It's somewhat at odds with the nature of Jupiter, but Gemini is very much about communication, conversation, interaction. It's also about our skills, but it's also about sifting through, collecting, and gathering the data. Well, Libra is a sign that is very, like, if Gemini is about options, then Libra is about decisions, right? And you can see this reflected in their relative tarot cards. The Lovers is the Gemini card, and the Justice card is Libra, right? And the Lovers is about choice, and Justice is about commitment. So, Justice, or should I say, Libra, is the result of the decision that you've made, where you choose one path over another. Now, the fact that the moon has just come out of an eclipse and is now starting to move through this trine with Jupiter, that for me is really powerful. And what it means is we have a chance today to really consider what it is that we need, the moon, from our relationships, Libra, and open up a dialogue, Gemini, about it, right? From an elevated perspective, Jupiter. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how we kind of synthesize and start to pull all of this together and how it might start to show up for us. Today feels like, and the reason this is important, especially with what my guides and me just said, today feels like it's a day for us to get really clear, as in today, the 3rd of October, to get really clear on certain decisions that may have been lagging in the background. It's going to be our needs that win out. Like, what do we actually need? And the reason this is important is because the moon is involved and we've just had this eclipse. This is really getting us to start to consider, okay, I want this. And this feels like the fun option and the thing that I would absolutely love to do and all the rest of it. But Jupiter's supervising this and in a trine to the moon, and the moon's main sort of job is to make sure that her children, us, humanity, are well fed, well looked after. So this moon moving through the trine with Jupiter is kind of saying, okay, yes, it's great that you want this, but is it actually what you need? And now that we're in this process of making decisions from an elevated perspective, it's kind of like, and with Jupiter standing still, right? So that energy to really look at the data, right? Jupiter, the massive expansion energy in the sign of Gemini of weighing up the options, as it were, right? This is where we're choosing, we're gathering the data and looking at it and all the rest of it. It's standing still, very powerful in the sky, is getting us to see, okay, you know what, from an elevated perspective, as much as I really want to do this, and this feels like the fun and the exciting option, what I actually need is this. And this is going to win out. Remember, Jupiter is about cohesion and Gemini even more. And I have to ask as well, actually, if you have been feeling since Jupiter's been in the sign of Gemini, I want to see you drop a number 2 in the comments, right? The reason I say this is because if you've been feeling like for the last, I think it's probably, let's say 4, 5, well, it's about 5, 6 months, let's say. However long Jupiter's been in Gemini, have you felt like decisions have been not so much harder to make, but you felt really torn? It's like you want this and you want this, and you're not really sure how you can pull the two together. I'm just interested to see whoever else has been having that feeling or that experience. Yeah, Lisa Moore's been feeling it. Absolutely. It's kind of like that, just almost like you're being pulled in two different directions and you're trying to figure out how the two sort of come together. Yeah, Christian B. Yeah, absolutely. Heidi Reichel. Yeah, absolutely. Jessica triple two. Jessica's like, listen, Rafi, you speak in my language, right? Yeah, okay, great. Good. Okay, so not good that you've been torn between it, but remember, Gemini energy is about doing things with both hands, and Jupiter expands wherever it is. So it's maybe felt in the background like things have been a bit more consequential, and it's like, okay, how do I have this and this? And then on top of that, Jupiter is helping us make the decision, but the wisest decision. So Jupiter is an energy of wisdom, just as Gemini is an energy of assessing and gathering the data. So what happens when this combination comes together, we really are able to make decisions that much easier based on the facts, right? So it's like we've probably had, I know I've had loads of moments like this where I'm like, oh, but I want to do, and then you have to say, okay, which of these is actually going to get you the most traction? Which of these is actually going to really take you to where you want or need to be? And luckily, this moon moving through the trine to Jupiter today is a really good day to make that decision from an elevated perspective. It might not be easy because we know that when you say yes to one option, you unfortunately have to say no to the other. Now, the other thing that I want to say to you, because this is a trine, it's very possible that this could be where we start to understand it's not necessarily a no to the other option, it's just a not right now. Yeah? Okay, all right. No, absolutely, Heidi. I totally remember you, lovely. You are a much treasured client of mine. I see all of your comments on YouTube. You've been with me since like 2019 at this point. I can pretty much remember that much. My guides and me, I keep saying it the wrong way around. Sorry, my guides and me says it's like choosing between muggle life and spirit life. Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good way to put it. Nikki said, I had lots of deep dreams too last night, that my friend was getting help. It's a relief for me. Excellent. All right, fantastic. Okay, so that's today. That's tomorrow, should I say? That's today, even. And then if you keep an eye here on Jupiter, watch what happens. It just doesn't really do a lot. Now it's in a sextile to Chiron, which means that the conversations that we're having at the moment means that we're able to really heal through our words, right? And it's obviously on top of that in a trying to, well, I was going to pass through that on Friday. Remember, we talked about Friday being quite intense because the moon's going to square Pluto for the last time in Capricorn ever. Jessica McNair says it's a choice between men. Okay, honey, I see you. Some of us out here can't even get a text back, and my lady's choosing between them. Okay, I see you. That's definitely a Jupiter thing. Jupiter loves having more than one. Uh, all right, so on Saturday, and as we move through Friday and Saturday, you can see not a great deal happens. However, at this point, Mercury will be at 16 degrees of Libra, and it's then going to start to apply to that trine, meaning so the moon's done it first, then Mercury will do it, and then the sun will do it, right? So as we come into Friday and Saturday, Jupiter begins to trine Mercury, which is the host of this planet, right? So this is Jupiter, who doesn't necessarily do great in Gemini, is getting harmonious and positive energy from a very strong Mercury. Mercury loves air signs. He's moving through that and sending good energy to Jupiter. This is a really great day. I would say Friday and Saturday, they're great days for conversation or dialogue. And I think this is an ideal time to have some of these hard conversations that I've been talking about. Now, as we come in, keep an eye on Jupiter again, right? As we come into next week, you can see again, not a great deal happening. However, on Tuesday, Moon will oppose uh, Jupiter. That has the potential to be a little bit. No, dicey is too strong a word, but it has the potential to be a bit frustrating. And this is probably because an idea that we have that feels really big and exciting and adventurous is going to kind of come into a bit of a moment, especially as it comes into a square with Saturn. It's going to come into a moment where you realize, like, okay, in order to do this or to have this thing, it's probably going to need to look a bit different to this. And actually, maybe that I don't have all of the details that I need to make this thing work. Now, as we come into Tuesday on the 8th of October, look at this. Mercury will be an exact trine to Jupiter. So I really, really love that. And then as we come into Wednesday, the sun hits 16 degrees of Libra, and it's then going to start coming into the trine to Jupiter. However, what's happened? Can anyone spot it? Christian B says, an ex I've been healing over for a year contacted me out of nowhere to apologize. We haven't spoken in a year. You're so on point. Wow, thank you so much. Yeah, that's really interesting. Um, Brilliant. And what I love most about this is it feels like it's going to give you the closure that you need so that you can really move forward. And because there's such an emphasis on that air energy at the moment, it's like you're able to then really get into your mind and see it from an elevated perspective. Nice. That's really nice. Okay. So I don't know if anyone spotted it, but yes. The Sun will be at 16 degrees of Libra, and Jupiter on the 9th will go retrograde. Right, so bam, look at that. So it is the Sun applying to trine Jupiter, but it is Jupiter in a retrograde. Now, what's interesting about this is when Jupiter trines the sun, it's a very lucky energy. Jupiter is dignitaries, it's helpful people. The sun is about authority figures and the like. And so in a trine, this can be a really brilliant connection that's forged. That feels really productive, potentially quite light-hearted, and it's a really good time to talk about partnerships and collaborations. That being said, remember Jupiter is retrograde, so it's very likely that this could be old opportunities for partnership, connection, and collaboration that come back onto the table. Especially if maybe last time you weren't able to do this, maybe it wasn't possible, maybe you were busy, they were busy, schedules just didn't sort of line up. Well, this is a chance to see if they do line up and if you actually want in on this. So take stock of what's happening in the Gemini area of your chart, but also pay attention to what's happening in the Libra part of your chart, right? These two areas are really doing some things for all of us at this moment in time. So if Jupiter is an energy of cohesion and an energy of synthesis, he's in Gemini. This is effectively where it is trying to bridge the gap, but it's not so easy because we've got that Saturn Jupiter square in the background as well. So it's almost like whatever you're able to combine now or to bring together, you're able to see the deeper meaning of that in your life and in your world. Jupiter is a benefic energy. Gemini is really about education as well. So this could be a time where you're starting to get a really powerful insight into those things in your world. All right, so looking to take a Reiki course. That's brilliant. I love it. Let me stop sharing now. All right, so I would like to take a moment to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So I want you to take a moment, take a breath, and when you're ready, I just want you to say stop, and I will start pulling cards. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a really good one to do. Heather does that, and I would say if you're going to do it, she's probably the best person to go to. Okay, so stop. So the first card out, we're going to be looking at the growth catalyst, right? How to nurture personal or professional growth this week. And this week we've got the world card, right? So what this means is over the course of the next week, as Jupiter is doing his thing, you really want to start thinking about how you can nurture the community aspect of what you're doing, right? So whether you're a one-man band like me, whether you work for a big organization or a small organization, you really are only as successful and elevated as your community. And I gotta say, without blowing my own trumpet, or actually, I'm not blowing my trumpet, I'm blowing your trumpet. I have the best community in the damn world. I don't care what anybody else says. I know there are people out there that with way more subscribers than me and all of that stuff, but I have the best community. Look at the way they support each other in the comments. Look at the way that they show up for me. Look at the way that they like my videos. Look at the way that they put my message out there. Look at the way that they show up for each other. I have the best community out there on YouTube. I don't care what anybody else says. All right. So, this week, your growth catalyst is your network. You know that saying where they say your net worth is your network, right? It is literally that. So, what I will say to you is think about this. Who are you surrounded by? How much time do you spend with them? And how are they feeding into what you truly love, need, want, and desire? Or how are they hindering you? And more importantly, where can you improve that? What part can you play in making it better than it currently is? So this week, you got to get out there, right? You got to think about your network and your community. What are you doing to elevate it? And then the other part of this is, as a growth catalyst, this card actually is ruled by Saturn. And so what it usually says is this is about refinement over time. This is where we graduate. This is where we go to a brand new level. And so you need to think about where you can elevate your collective and more importantly, how your community either does or doesn't do that for you. My guide to me says, "Well, I'm avoiding social media at the moment, apart from you." Well, you know what? I will take that, and I will say that is so much love, and I truly appreciate being the one little person or thing that's kind of slipped through the cracks. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So the second card that I'm going to pull, this is your impact influencer, how to connect to the right people, how to make an impression, and also how to leverage your influence to create opportunities for yourself using Jupiter's energy. We got the Knight of Wands, right? So this is, interestingly enough, a card of like out of all of the cards, the Knight of Wands really wants to prove himself, right? This is the card that really says, I'm ready for it and I'm going to show up. I'm going to do whatever I can. I'm going to go out there into the world and I'm going to prove my mettle. I'm going to test my mettle. The other thing with the Knight of Wands, this is a powerful, sexy, sensual, horny even, right? The Knight of Wands is full of passion and power and is like, listen, I'm gonna get me what I want. I'm gonna get me what I need. And he's ready and willing to show up. So truthfully speaking, this week, the way that you create opportunities is by demonstrating and showing your passion, right? Wherever it is in you, you got to summon it up. You got to bring it up from, from your goods, right? Summon it up and put it out there into the world and show people your passion, right? This is how you're going to create your opportunities. This is not a week to hold back. And yes, even though Jupiter is going retrograde, you do need to be a bit more conscious of the words that you use and how you use them. How we say what we say is sometimes just as important as the message itself. Oh my gosh, so many new people. I'm McKendrick. Thank you so much for being here. Paul Good Samaka, where the hell have you been, man? Dude, it's been an age. Oh my goodness. It's so good to have you. But right, like listen, you gotta get into the depths of who you are, bring it up, and find a way to verbalize and vocalize that because the more passion and power you put into your words this week, the more people are gonna gravitate towards you, and more importantly, this is how you're going to make an impression, right? While everybody else is doing the meek and mild and excuse what I'm gonna say, but like the fake modesty. Be who you truly are. Be fired up about it. Be present because that's what's going to make people notice you this week. And then finally, the luck lever, right? How do we use our energy, right, for our how does our diligence and open-mindedness turn into potential and tangible success for all of us, right? And for this, we've got the Magician card. Okay, so how do we pull strings to get ahead? By being a master communicator to start with, by standing on your business, right? In fact, I would say that's first and foremost. And what I mean by that, when I say like stand on your business, be about it. right? Don't wing it. Don't possibly like, oh, maybe I'll just try this or whatever. Be about it. Show up with what you absolutely know and shine in that. Demonstrate that. What does this card say? It says we have all that we need at our disposal in order to get ahead. So the best way for you to pull the universal strings to get ahead this week or to create your own luck is by remembering how powerful you are, stepping into that power and using it. This is about really using the power of your consciousness and the power of your words to speak into existence all of the things that you desire. If you've been with me long enough, or if you are a part of the Lunar Lacuna, you will have heard me say the power of life and death is in the tongue. So you better be out here this week, Jupiter in Gemini, speaking life into your dreams, speaking elevation into your goals, right? Come on now. Come on now. Be intentional about what you're saying. Be intentional about what you're thinking. Air energy, which is where a lot of this is happening over the course of this week. It's about what you say. It's about what you listen to. It's about what you think, right? How you ingest, what you ingest of those things, and what you constantly put out there into the world, okay? Through your thoughts, through your speech. Very, very important. Okay, so the magician has been active lately. Oh, yes, very much so. I need to get back on my spooky shiz. I don't like just muggle life. Yeah, listen, I'm going to say this to you, right? My guides and me. The longer you ignore the call or the knock, the louder it's going to get, right? And let me get serious and, I'm sober, obviously, but let me get serious and sober for a second. Circa 2000 and, ooh, I would say, let's say 2011 to 2013. I tried to put it all down and say, right, muggle life, I'm going to be normal, well, and I tell you, it got louder and it got louder, and the experiences got more and more painful, and things just kept falling apart. And I really want to say that I couldn't understand why. The truth is, I could understand why, but I didn't want to acknowledge or accept it. And that truth was that I wasn't following the path that was meant for me. As soon as I stepped back into this, right, my tarot, my astrology, my energy work, my Reiki, as soon as I picked it all back up, everything fell into place. Everything got smoother. Everything got easier. And it's brought me to this place now. You will know when you are not living in accordance with what you are supposed to be, because it will be hard, it will be difficult, it will be challenging. And this isn't to say that I don't have, I don't skip through the, okay, I maybe skip through the right? But this isn't to say that I never have problems or issues now because I'm, living my supposed purpose. It's to say that life is a lot smoother and it's a lot easier, and things come to me a lot easier because I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Whether that's a past life covenant with the universe, whether it is the ordained, preordained, from the universe and all the rest of it. Exactly, right? Whichever way you call it, the way that I understand it is I made an agreement, my soul, wherever it was prior to this, said, right, okay, I'm going to do this. And in order to have that and to make all of this happen and to serve this larger purpose for the grand scheme of all that is, I have to do this, this, and this, and this. And I'm going to have some of this, right? Those really gnarly, heavy, hard experiences to accelerate that. Because I know I'm hard-headed. When I tell you I'm hard-headed, right? There's a reason, aside from being a Leo ascendant, there's a reason Rafi's got no hair left. It's because I'm hard-headed. Everything the hard way, right? Once I started to really understand that, And I stepped into it and said, okay. And I'll never forget this because it started with, I'm going off on a tangent now, but I feel like this is relevant. I'll never forget this because it started with a conversation that I had with a friend of mine, she's one of my best friends in the entire world. And I never forget it because one night we were actually sat in my living room, and there were these literal knocks, right? So when I say don't ignore the knock because it will get louder and louder, literal knocks, right? And I kid you not, I used to have a set of doors that led out onto a balcony. And she kind of looked at me and I was like, I'm really sorry. And she was like, does this happen a lot? And then boom, the doors, right? Look, goosebumps every time because this, like, the doors literally flung open. And we both kind of just looked at each other and I said to her, because she said to me, does stuff like this happen to you a lot? And then the doors flung open, and I was like, yeah, and I'm really sorry if you're freaked out. And she said, no. She said, Raf, this is spirit. And if you don't listen to this, it's going to get louder. And at that point, I was like, okay, you know what? Fine. I don't know where this is going to go. And truth be told, there were still some painful, very painful experiences that happened because that was still quite early into the journey. Um, at that point, I said, right, fine, no problem. I stepped back onto my path. And yes, there have been some moments since then and now because life is going to life. But truthfully speaking, I live a life that I only once ever dreamt about. And it's got nothing to do with money. It's got everything to do with the fact that I'm living what me and the universe ordained my path and my presence should be about. So, for that very long-winded story, my guides and me, all muggle, if you've got spooky blood, is never going to cut it. Get yourself right and step back onto the path. Okay? Fire signs. This week, and Jupiter. You have the Knight of Swords. So if you're a fire sign this week, it's going to be fast and furious, even with Jupiter going retrograde. That being said, I would say this week, watch out for the conversations that you're having, because even though they have elements and grains of truth, it will be very easy to be derailed from or through some of the conversations that you're having. Okay, so be really intentional about what you're saying, and more importantly, be very discerning about what you're hearing. So if you're a fire sign, pay attention to your conversations, but also be discerning about what's going on with them. The other thing with the Knight of Swords, don't rush in. If you're a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, I really want you this week, before you jump in and say yes to something, really give it some thought. All right? Like, really give it some thought. Don't just say yes for the sake of saying yes. For the air signs, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, you have the Wheel of Fortune. So if you know this, if you've been with me long enough, you know Jupiter is the big guy, right? The Wheel of Fortune, should I say, is the big guy, is Jupiter. So if you're an air sign right now, Jupiter is trining your sign, or it's in your sign as a Gemini, right? So this means that the luck of Jupiter is flowing in your favor. It's really doing good things for you. And the Wheel of Fortune is basically saying that this week, in order to tap into Jupiterian energy, allow yourself to be pushed and pulled to the places that you think, allow things to unfold as they're going to unfold, because this week is likely that you're going to find yourself in the right place at the right time. For the water signs, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio, you have the High Priestess. Very, very interesting. This week, it is very likely and very possible that your intuition is going to be speaking very loudly. There might be a couple of moments this week, if you're a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, that maybe don't make a lot of sense. So when you get that initial sort of push, or, you know what, do this, go here, do that, phone that person, message this, share this message out on your Instagram, you might hear it, you might feel it, however your intuition speaks to you. You might be a bit like, Now? Like, really? Is this the right moment? Yes, right? Trust your intuition, trust your instinct, because it will be leading you right this week. And remember, you got that grand water trine going on for you guys here as well. And then finally, last but never least, the earth signs, Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. You have the Tower. Okay, so it kind of makes sense, right? You got Pluto at the very end of Capricorn, and it's in a square to the moon on, I think it's tomorrow actually. But more importantly, this week, the best way for you to tap into this Gemini energy, this Jupiter retrograde slash in Gemini energy, the Tower card is about liberation, right? Let's take all the scary stuff out of it. Yes, there are likely to be some surprises this week. If you're an Earth sign, there's no getting around it. The Tower doesn't stop being the Tower just because we don't want that experience. But from the opposite end of the spectrum, the Tower card is about true liberation, right? This is where you get to see something in the cold, stark light of day, and you have that understanding or that realization where you go, ah, okay, I can see that for what it is now, right? So there's some kind of facade that's being dropped this week for the earth signs. And I don't think this is going to be ground shattering. I actually think it's going to be ground solidifying. It's like once you have this clarity or this knowledge, you're going to be able to go, yeah, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm ready for that now. All right. So in the comments, let's see what's going on. Uh, my guide to meet Raf, I got married, then lost my mum. It's a personal year 11. A personal year 11 is not an easy one. I tell you, everyone's like, oh, it's going to be so light and spiritual. We all think it's going to be like, ah. And then when you get to a personal year 11, it's like, ugh. But I can promise you, on the other side of it, it's going to be beautiful. All right. I'm so very sorry for the loss of your mother. And I really hope that your heart begins to heal when you are ready. Take your time, all right? Don't force it. Don't put on a performative display of being okay for other people. Be okay when you are actually okay, all right? Take your time, and I'm sending you a lot of love, all right? Look after yourself. R.T. Patel, the universe is so loving that it cannot abide by us living incongruent to ourselves. You better get out here. Yes, right? Alignment. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. My pleasure, lovely. I really, really hope so. Jessica says Pisces Sun and rising with Scorpio Moon. It's already been happening so crazy. Yeah, just wait. This week is really going to amplify. I think it's going to be incredible for you. I really, really do. Cindy, love to see those flames. Laurel Berg, 5 times Aquarius. Oh yeah. That's a lot of Aquarius energy, right? So to recap and to take stock for a moment, obviously I've talked a lot about one of my personal experiences, and I hope that it gives you some clarity for your own path, right? It's truthfully, only you can decide what's right for you, but you'll know, right? When you start feeling what is known as, there's a lady called Mary Manning Morrissey who wrote a wonderful book called Building Your Field of Dreams, and she calls it the divine discontent. And that's like a really pretty way of saying when you can feel something isn't right and nothing seems to be working, it's because you're out of alignment with your path. All right, so get back to it. Now, in terms of this week, as we know, Jupiter's not moving at all. It's staying where it is and it's going to go retrograde. If you haven't seen it, check out the Jupiter retrograde special here on my channel. It's good for right the way through to the end of the retrograde, which is February of 2025. If you are here for the first time, please don't forget to like, share, and maybe if this feels like it resonates with you, hit that subscribe button. If you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to share this with anybody that you feel like it might be relevant for. Kelly says 33 likes and I'm a life path 33. Hey, hey, hey. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Lovely to have you. Have a fantastic week. We will be here next week talking about the Jupiter retrograde because at that point we will be in it. So stay tuned. Excuse me, stay tuned for that. I wish you all an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up for you. You know, Rafi